The latest research indicates that suicide recently has surpassed combat death as a cause of mortality in the military.
We as a country have to step up to this. We have to.
Today we call it PTSD, yet it's haunted soldiers of every war and mystified families, doctors, and military officials throughout our history. In the past 10 years, more than 2 million Americans have fought in Iraq and Afghanistan. And now, most of those soldiers are back home. As America struggles to help our new veterans find peace, perhaps we should look to our nation's first warriors for answers.
Well, when I came back from Vietnam, my family told me, you go into the Sundance and you wipe yourself off. Even though you may not have killed somebody directly, you were involved in that. And I think those veterans that did kill someone, that spirit stays with you and it haunts you. And if you can't deal with it, it can consume you to the point that it'll take your life.
Larry says Pooch is one of tens of thousands of Native Americans who served in Vietnam. And like many young soldiers from Indian country, he went through cleansing ceremonies and prayers to help him when the fighting was over.
I recall times landing on the carrier and I would smell sweetgrass or cedar, and I would look around the flight deck to see who was burning sweetgrass or cedar, and I didn't see anybody. And as we went to the hangar deck, I would think, wow, that must be my people praying for me back home. And it was my time there that I realized that I have something that nobody else has, and that's what was going to get me through.
Our kids are still going to overseas all over the world right now, both boys and girls, and come back with war date.
According to the Department of Defense, American Indians enlist in higher percentages than any other ethnic group. More than 12,000 volunteered to serve in World War I, years before they'd been granted citizenship by the U.S. government. And after the attack on Pearl Harbor, most American Indians didn't even wait to be drafted. They volunteered. More than 44,000 fought in every theater of the war, and many did so with great distinction. Indians fought at Guadalcanal and Anzio. They were at Bataan and Corregidor, D-Day, and Iwo Jima. It may come as a surprise that so many Native people serve in the U.S. military, given the history of conflict between America and the First Nations of our country. Yet, for more than a century, American Indians have met U.S. soldiers on the battlefield, not as adversaries, but as brothers in arms.
I look at the American flag in this way. To me, the red stripes represent the Native people, and we've always fought for this land because this was always our motherland. And when we were conquered, we fought together for this land, and that's the white stripes, so we fought in union. And the blue on the flag is the land itself. We call it Duweep. And the stars on the flag represent all those lives that were lost fighting for this land.
One of the oldest living American Indians to have fought for this land is 99-year-old Joe Medicine Crow from the Crow Nation in Montana. As a young man, he earned a degree from the University of Southern California. And after World War II broke out, He could have avoided combat when he was offered a position as a commissioned officer.
Thank you very much. However, I always say that I'm going to follow the footsteps of my grandfather, Chief Medicine Crow. He had completed all the 4 battlefield requirements for a crow to become a chief. So I'm going to follow my grandfather. Sometimes I wonder, bombs go, machine guns, with a landmine, oh gee. I should have gotten in the commission. I'll be stationed back there, living in a nice building, eat good food. So sometimes I should have done that. However, the Great Spirit is good to me, protected me.
The VA Center in Salt Lake City is just one of a handful in the country that use Native American healing methods. Since 2004, they've offered a weekly sweat lodge ceremony to veterans suffering with PTSD. The lodge is tucked away behind a brick wall next to the parking lot. And most of the veterans who attend these sweats are non-native.
My name is Calvin Bench. Well, I went into the service at 18. I went to Vietnam at 19. And I had no idea how it would change you or affect you mentally. The concept that I would carry that around forever was just hard. But I just never had any place to turn. I came here and I was given a blessing.
It's healing right down to the core of that veteran.
Arnold Thomas is a medicine man from the Shoshone-Paiute tribes. He conducts the ceremonies at the VA Center.
When they've been overseas in combat, there's a part of them that is left there. So when we had the ceremonies, there's certain prayer songs that I offer and welcome them home and make that effort to bring part of their spirit back home.
Well, he asked me to stand, and I stood, and they call it fanning you off, where they take an eagle feathers or an eagle wing, and they fan you off. And while they're doing that, they sing healing songs and try to bring the spirits in to cleanse you. And I just felt like I was cleansed and I was ready for a new beginning in life.
Looking at the astounding rates of suicides within the military and the veteran population over the last few years because of some of the men and women going over and serving in the war. And I've had to draw on the various experiences I've gone through to allow myself to heal the various ceremonies. And I know that all people have that ability to reason unless they're grieving. So oftentimes I ask the veterans, if you can't reason, what is it you're grieving? And we sit down and I allow that space for them to talk about those feelings, those memories. So well, turn that thought, that emotion, intertwine it into a prayer so you can let it go.
Well, my name is Steve Rich. Being a soldier in the Gulf War, it was a pretty intense conflict and it was pretty quick. But I found that after the Gulf War, I was missing part of me and carrying around a couple, I guess you say spirits of. One was a friend who was lost over there, and the other was an enemy soldier that I killed, and it really impacted me. And by the urging of my counselor, he suggested maybe taking them in the sweat with me, and maybe seeing what they would say. So I did, and beginning of the sweat, Arnold sings a song that is to call the spirits to the lodge. And so throughout the ceremony that night, I just imagined them sitting there with me and speaking with me, and got a lot of closure, I guess you could say, with that. So at the end of the ceremony, Arnold will do a song that's sending the spirits back to their homes, the spirit world. So when we did that song, I let go of them and released them and let it go. And that really, as far as my therapy for PTSD, really, it lightened the load a lot.
Just like I smelt that cedar and heard drums, we all need something to hold on to when we go through battle. These ways helped our people survive up to today. I'm a survivor of all those people. It helped them, it helped me, and it will help all others who have to go through something like this.